Welcome back to GameVault HQ. Today, we're diving into a rather unique title that caught our attention with its morbidly charming aesthetic, Prim. If you're a fan of point-and-click adventures, spooky yet endearing characters, or a story that plays with the line between the living and the dead, this one might just be for you. But does Prim manage to breathe life into this genre, or does it fall flat like an old skeleton? Let's get right into it. Prim tells the story of, well, Prim, the daughter of Death himself. Our protagonist is a teenage girl, albeit with an underworld twist, who wants to explore the world of the living, driven by her desire to escape her father's strict rules and explore the world of the living. Right from the start, Prim brings a refreshingly twisted perspective, offering humor, darkness, and heart, all wrapped up in an enchanting visual style. It's very much a game that knows its identity, with an art direction that pulls directly from classic Tim Burton vibes. The environments are draped in shadows, yet still retain a whimsical charm, and every character design speaks volumes about their personality before they even say a word. Gameplay-wise, Prim is a classic point-and-click adventure, with all the puzzles and quirky interactions you'd expect. You guide Prim as she navigates both the land of the dead and the land of the living, solving puzzles, talking to an array of eccentric characters, and slowly unraveling the deeper narrative at play. The puzzles here range from simple to moderately challenging, striking a good balance where you rarely feel too stuck, but also aren't simply breezing through. It's clear that the developers wanted players to take their time and savor the experience rather than rush from one scene to the next. One of the standout elements of Prim is its narrative. The story isn't afraid to tackle themes of life, death, and what lies in between, but it does so with a certain lightness, always keeping the tone playful enough to avoid becoming overly grim. The dialogue is genuinely funny at times, and Prim herself is a wonderful character to guide through this strange world. She's rebellious, curious, and occasionally sarcastic, making her easy to root for as she defies her father's wishes to explore the world of the living. The characters Prim encounters are diverse, ranging from friendly ghosts to bizarre living beings, each with their own quirks that make every interaction memorable. You might run into a flustered bureaucrat in the Underworld, or meet a spirit that's way too interested in the hobbies of the living. Each interaction adds flavor to the game, enhancing its quirky charm and driving the story forward in a very organic way. These aren't just filler characters, they all contribute something meaningful to Prim's journey. Visually, Prim is a feast for fans of dark, stylish animation. The game draws heavy inspiration from Gothic cartoon styles, think along the lines of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it works brilliantly in setting the mood. The visuals are presented in black and white, with a level of detail in the backgrounds that is impressive. Every frame looks like it could be a panel from a graphic novel, filled with small touches that make exploring the environment genuinely rewarding. The soundtrack is another high point, fitting perfectly with the tone of the game. It's haunting when it needs to be, playful when Prim gets herself into trouble, and altogether ties the experience into a cohesive whole. The music adds depth to the atmosphere, and it's clear that a lot of care went into making sure every track fit just right with what's happening on screen. The orchestral soundtrack, performed by the Babelsberg Film Orchestra, is particularly notable for adding a rich, immersive layer to the experience. Where Prim may falter slightly is in its pacing. There are moments, particularly in the middle sections, where the game can feel a bit drawn out. The dialogue, while often charming, sometimes lingers longer than it needs to, and there are parts where you may find yourself wishing the story would move along a little faster. This doesn't ruin the experience by any means, but it's something worth noting for players who prefer a brisker pace in their adventure games. Another aspect that might not sit well with everyone is the puzzle difficulty. While many of the puzzles strike the right balance, there are a few that could leave players scratching their heads. Not because they're inherently hard, but because the logic can occasionally feel a bit obscure. It's a classic issue in the point-and-click genre, where sometimes the answer just doesn't click until after you've tried every item combination you can think of. Thankfully, these moments are relatively rare, and the game's charm does a lot to make up for any frustration. All in all, Prim is a game with a lot of heart. It brings humor, emotion, and just the right amount of spookiness to the point-and-click genre. It's a game that respects the classics while injecting its own unique twist, driven by a protagonist who's impossible not to love. If you enjoy narrative-driven games that don't take themselves too seriously, Prim is absolutely worth checking out. Despite a few pacing issues and the occasional head-scratching puzzle, the journey through both the Underworld and the land of the living is one filled with memorable moments and genuine charm. We give Prim an 8 out of 10. It's a beautifully crafted, heartfelt adventure that's worth your time, especially if you're into dark yet whimsical tales. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe for more from GameVault HQ. Let us know your thoughts on Prim in the comments below. Did you love it, hate it, or something in between? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.